Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Maximilian College Basketball Picks and Analysis for Wednesday, January 14th. I'm your host, Max Hofmeyer, and I've got three plays on deck for today that we will be discussing. If you didn't notice, we got a nice new thumbnail here that probably took me way too long to make, but hopefully it will bring us some good fortune, because certainly an unlucky Thursday that we had. 1-2 on the day. But both Minnesota and UConn, they looked good at halftime, and both ended up losing by the hook, which was, brutal. But that happens in this sport. Always disappointing, but just got to move on to the next card. So hopefully the next card and the new thumbnail will bring us some good fortune. And for our first play, we head to the SoCon here, where the Catamounts of Western Carolina are plus 6.5 at home versus East Tennessee State. Western Carolina 1-3 in conference play, but they've been a little unlucky. All three of their losses have just been by 2 scores or less, and we've had them projected 2-2 in that stretch. And I think this Western Carolina team is just being viewed just a little too negatively by the market, from an analytical standpoint. And I think it has something to do with the fact that they ran a non-con schedule that was 20th in difficulty. So they did not have many winnable games in the non-con. Little unlucky here to start conference play, where ETSU, on the other hand, off to a 4-0 start in SoCon play. But 3 of those games were at home, and 3 of them were against, bottom of the conference teams in Citadel, VMI, and UNC Greensboro. So I do think this is a good combination of, buy low on Western Kentucky, sell a little high on ETSU, and hopefully Western Carolina, not Western Kentucky. Hopefully Western Carolina can continue to, lose a game by 2 possessions or less and cover the plus 6.5 here. And for the second play, we got a West Coast matchup between Oregon State at home laying 1 point or plus 1 point. Different books have different lines. By the time you're viewing this, it could have changed as well. But they're playing Loyola Marymount and LMU. They faced, nothing but the top of the conference here to start conference play. They played St. Mary's, Pacific, Washington State, Gonzaga, San Fran, and Santa Clara. And, no easy games at all sprinkled in there. And it's led to a 2-4 start. Mainly that's been from opponents shooting 40% from deep against them, in that good competition. So hopefully I think we see some regression here in this one. Oregon State, they've been disappointing this year, 9-10, but we've actually projected them to be worse, 7-2, because their inability to win the possession battle. I've talked about it before with this Oregon State team. They don't take care of the ball. They don't offensive rebound. They struggle with defensive rebounding, and they just don't force turnovers, which is just not a good recipe, to win basketball games. You got to get, as many possessions as you can, more than your opponent, to win those games. So for play number 2, we're going to go back to the well that's been fruitful this year, and that is fading Oregon State. And for the final play, we have another West Coast Conference game between Pepperdine and Portland here, and the Waves are plus 2 here at home. Pepperdine out to a horrendous 0-6 start in conference play, so can't get much worse for them. But the silver lining is, like Loyola Marymount, they also played the top of the conference: Gonzaga, St. Mary's, Santa Clara, Pacific, San Fran, and then San Diego was the one game that was kind of winnable, but they match up very poorly with them. Pepperdine turns it over a lot, and San Diego forces a lot of turnovers, but that should not be an issue here as Portland, they don't really force turnovers, and they don't really offensive rebound. So they're both kind of in the same boat. Don't do great in the possession battle. So, and Portland, they got not just their first, but their second conference win in their last 2 games. So I do think it is a good spot here for Pepperdine to get on the board, get their first conference win. So I'm going to take the +2, as I think Pepperdine wins this one outright. And that will do it for today's episode. Thank you so much for watching, and make sure you subscribe as you don't want to miss any future episodes. Enjoy your Wednesday and best of luck.